Being wherever you are, it's CBS 2 Boston. In Boston, this is the Channel 2 Eyewitness News. Now, in Boston, this is the Channel 2 Eyewitness News at 5. In Boston, this is the Channel 2 Eyewitness News at 10. Channel 2 Eyewitness News Tonight starts now. Good evening, everyone. Live from the Boston studios, this is the Boston 2 Action News at 10. And welcome, everybody. The CBS affiliation to Channel 2 starts right now, which is a merger for everything of the Fox Network and ABC.
But one thing will remain the same, is everything you need to know.
The first broadcast here for the new CBS 2 Boston. We are so glad to have you here on the news at 10. In Boston, this is the Boston 2 Action News at 10 with Chief Meteorologist Mr. G, Mrs. G, Rob Collin, and Sports with Jimmy Horsfield. In Boston, this is the CBS 2 Action News at 10 with Mrs. G, Mrs. O, and Chief Meteorologist Mr. G, and Sports with Mr. X. Working for you, this is Boston 2 News this morning. Live, working for you. This is CBS 2 News this morning with Tyra Twidoda, Paul Dandage, and the U Team. We are in Boston. This is Boston 2 News at noon. Live, working for you. This is CBS 2 News at noon with Tyra Twidoda, Paul Dandridge, and Chief Meteorologist Lance Oriso. CBS 2 Boston. The best local news, more balance, more special assignments, and more to come. Working for you. This is Boston 2 News at 5. You're watching the best. This is Boston 2 News at 5. Working for you. This is CBS 2 News at 6. Live, working for you. This is Boston 2 News at 6. Working for you. This is CBS 2 News at 6 with Ann Martin, Michael Tuck, and Chief Meteorologist Steve Rambo and Jim Hill. Sports. CBS 2 Boston. More balance, more special assignments, more to come. Live, working for you. This is Boston 2 News at 10. Working for you. This is CBS 2 News at 10. With Gretchen Carr, Jonathan Elias, Tony Williams. This is CBS 2 Boston. More balance, more special assignments, and more to come. Working for you. This is Boston 2 News at 6:30. Now, working for you. This is CBS 2 News at 6:30. Live, this is Boston 2 News at 11. Live, this is Boston 2 News at 11. Working for you. This is CBS 2 News at 11. Now, working for you. This is CBS 2 News at 11. With Ann Martin, Michael Tuck, meteorologist Steve Rambo, and Jim Hill Sports. CBS 2 Boston. More balance, more special assignments, and more to come. Live from the Boston studios of CBS 2 News. This is CBS 2 News this morning at 4:30 a.m. Live from the Boston studios of CBS 2. This is CBS 2 News this morning at 5 a.m. From the Boston studios of CBS 2. This is CBS 2 News this morning at 5:30 a.m. Live from the studios of CBS 2 in Boston. This is CBS 2 News this morning at 6 a.m. Live from the studios of CBS 2 Boston. This is CBS 2 News at 6:30 a.m. this morning. Live from the area's most watched complete local news. This is CBS 2 News at 9 a.m. From the area's complete local news. This is CBS 2 News at 11 a.m.